I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. Shout out to all my beautiful people over there in Twitter world. Shout out to all my beautiful people in the YouTube land. Shout out to all my beautiful people on the Rumble side. We in this bitch.
You know what it is.
Gang, gang, gang. Okay, so yesterday we had the prolific DJ, was it Franco?
No, Franco's tomorrow.
Franco's tomorrow, that's right. Shout out to the big homie Franco. We got a movie? Is it a movie?
Yeah, it is.
We got a movie tomorrow,
yesterday,
bitches. Okay.
Wasn't DJ Ben yesterday?
Huh?
Am I getting mixed up?
Today's the 7th. Yeah, that was Ben.
Ben was yesterday.
Shout out to the big homie DJ Ben. DJ Ben. There's this guy in USC called BJ Penn.
Oh.
Good. He's good. But, the time has gone past him. Okay. All right, guys. Here we go. This is DJ Nick up in this bitch. In the spirit of the history, because on this channel, not only are you going to get reactions, we like the metal, we know you like the metal, but we also dig a little bit deeper into pre-analysis. We talk about the surrounding context, and then we analyze the lyrics. It is, I defy you to find another channel like this.
Well,
you're bragging, Finn. Hell yeah, I'm bragging. I'm very proud of my channel, bro.
You guys will be happy to know that DJ Nick this time gave us some intros and some write-ups for some of the songs.
Yes,
so
sir.
That's going to be a little bit different. Let's check it out. So, his introduction says... Shoot, did I... Okay. What?
Shout out to Ian for believing in me. For being able to understand what a computer is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that white lady of garage said, black kids don't even know what computers are.
Oh, no.
We need to get them funding because they don't know what computers are. All right. New Meek Fellowship in the house. Never seen a live before. Glad to have you. Come and welcome. Are you ready?
All right. So, DJ Nick says, introduction for the stream. I decided to introduce Vin and Sori to some of the most badass and heaviest riffs of the 70s and showcase some underrated and influential bands that paved the way for hard rock and heavy metal sound. First up on our list is Mountain, Mississippi. Mountain is the name of the band. Mississippi Queen is the name of the song. His introduction says, Mountain was formed in early 1969 by guitarist vocalist Leslie West alongside bassist producer Felix Pappalardi, who had worked with the band Cream. West wanted to develop a more heavier and raw sound after being inspired by guitarist Eric Clapton. They would add keyboards Stevie Knight and drummer N.D. Smart and start touring, with their third concert being a gig at Woodstock.
Woodstock!
Soon after Woodstock, they replaced Smart with drummer Lawrence Corky Lang and released their debut album, Climbing. in March of 1970. Mississippi Queen is the opening track of this album, and its famous intro came about when drummer Corky Lang, not increasingly weary with all the takes they had to do, and started counting off the song with a cowbell. Lang
Cowbell! You
Was
remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
Needs more cowbell. You remember?
Not really.
Oh my goodness.
Also wrote the lyrics, which
Why do
he came.
I try?
I
It's
don't.
Ben
know.
Webb when you need him.
Lang also wrote the lyrics, which he came up with on the spot, playing at a club with his previous band. It was a hot summer night, and the power went out at the club. A buddy of his at the club with his girlfriend, who was from Mississippi, and she was wearing a see-through dress, and Lang became fascinated with her, and also he had a recreational drug called dexterian in his system, which increased his euphoria, and he started pounding his drums and shouting the eventual lyrics to Mississippi Queen while looking right at her. This song is driven.
Man. He would have got me too to this day and age, boy.
100%. This song
Probably
is
rightly so. Shout out to the homie.
This song is driven by an iconic monster of a riff that clearly influenced metal as a whole. So you're gonna have the band photo, which looks like this. It's in your screenshots.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's the photo that's the screen key.
That's the one for this song.
This one right here.
That's the one.
All right.
That be the one.
That be the one. So
All right.
that's the stream key for this particular song, dear listener. Here we go. Mississippi Queen live. Let's do it. Here's the cowbell.
Mississippi Queen,
Would be influential.
if you know what I mean. Mississippi Queen, call me everything. Way down around Vicksburg.
dun, dun, dun. Okay. That riff right there, did we timestamp that, number one?
We did not.
Okay, this is a, how long is this song? How many minutes is this song? Dun, 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 dun.
I gotta say.
That riff is like completely trapped in my head now. Hold on. 3 minutes. It's a 3-minute song. We're at the 17-minute mark.
Okay, so we'll say it about 14 minutes.
Yeah. So 14 minutes is the timestamp.
I have to say, I misunderstood when I was reading the intro what was happening.
This boy Nick came out hard on song 1, man.
I thought, I know.
He wasn't taking no fucking
no
prisoners. He started with a pretty, as E-Fog is saying, a pretty sick freaking lineup already.
I misunderstood, and I thought that what happened was they were at this club where they were performing, and a girl showed up. I figured she was like a single girl, and then it was a little too warm. Dress got a little bit see-through, blah, blah, blah. That whole scene happened. I didn't realize that his friend showed up with his girl, and that happened to her, and the guy was looking at her while he was playing. Like, that's not what you did to your friend.
Disrespectful.
Yeah! I was like, whoa, if anybody ever did that, you would be... Jesus, that's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I just don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Culture's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, seriously, though, in the 70s, like, the free love stuff was still kind of around, right? Some dudes were, I mean, I don't know. You know, I always idealized that period. I said, like, if I believed in past life stuff, I would have definitely believed that I was
part of the 70s.
In the 70s somewhere, because like that, like orange with the wallpaper, that look, like that orangish kind of look that the 70s had, but I feel nostalgic when I see those colors, which makes no sense.
Well, I do too, but you know what my thought was? I wonder if the reason that we have that is because the older people in our lives still had it had stuff that was older. No,
because my mom is Jamaican, so she didn't come in.
Yeah, but you had the weird couches with the plastic over it.
She wasn't in the 70s, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know anything about, especially like being an American in the 70s type of thing. Yeah. And then Mr. Man, he didn't come up in the 70s. He came up in like the 50s. So he's 80, you know what I'm saying?
And he didn't have anything that was kind of retro?
Nah. Well, I mean, he always picked up stuff on the street or whatever, but like...
Picked up stuff on the street?
Yeah, like the little gnome or whatever. Like, if, you know what I'm saying? People had it, whatever. But, okay. So, Mississippi Queen.
It was a fun song.
If you know what I mean. Well, it was an extremely fun song. But, you know, that's what rock and roll is really about, man. Like, especially... You know, like, I definitely think there's a place, obviously, for the Kurt Cobains of the world.
Yep.
You know, the people who are saying something significant or cathartic. I mean, as a Korn fan, I have to believe, obviously, in the healing power of music. But the other thing about music that's so good is sometimes it's just about having fun and just the regular relationships that human beings have.
Yep.
And looking at it from maybe a different kind of angle, so things aren't as boring all the time.
Yeah.
Water beds. I remember that.
Water beds. Oh my word.
I used to see millennials probably don't even. Jet, do you know what a water bed is? Man,
I mean,
when I first came to this country and I heard that people had water beds, I was like, "What?
Yeah,
Americans are rich. Holy hell!"
You remember that couple? Well,
yeah,
they had a water bed. And, like, we were, like, my family was considered, like, we had the biggest house in the neighborhood, whatever, so we were considered, like, sort of like the rich folks. We weren't the rich folks, but we were considered that, where we were at. These people lived a lifestyle that was a lot more modest than my parents did. They lived in a trailer. They had a waterbed, though. And I was like, these people are amazing. And I remember like crawling. They let us go onto the bed, which I thought was crazy too, because my parents were really strict about they would have never let my friends crawl onto their bed. I mean, I wouldn't let kids go crawling under our bed, some random neighborhood kids.
There's Jet. I don't know what that is.
Okay, literally, instead of a mattress, you had like basically a big tube, like a bed that was filled with water. That's what the mattress was. So you got onto it, it was like,
yeah.
Honestly, I don't understand why any married person would want something like that.
Yeah, like now, as an adult, and you
it's
think
like,
about,
that's so
you think about the logistics.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
But the bed you want is the same thing. It's like one of those hospital
hold on.
beds, and you can adjust it.
Oh, that's not the same. What do you mean that's the
It's
same
yeah,
thing?
Because there's a line where it's your part of the bed versus my part of the bed. It's not like one experience type of thing. I don't like it either. I'm going to get it for you because you want it.
I'll tell you. Well, I mean, if I'm probably not going to have another kid, the reason I wanted it was because when you're pregnant, you get to a point where you can't breathe good. So if you could just sit yourself up a bit, that would be nice. Plus, it also had a cooling side, which I don't like being hot at night.
Mississippi
Anyway.
Queen, if you know what I mean. Well, okay. So the lyrics are a little bit basic, but I think what Ben was talking about, or Nick was talking about, though, is how influential that, and they kind of stayed home in that riff, and it was kind of like a variation of like a jazz riff, like that, that type of thing. It's a really, really pronounced riff.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. And then the lead guy was just kind of staying in the scale, like around there, and so it's like. That's one of those things where you can literally freestyle. Like if you know the scale and you know what key you're in, you can just like you've heard me do that. Like, oh, that sounds so good, blah blah blah. And it's like,
and then you always make some.
You're making up on the fly. I'm not making it up on the fly. There's a template, right? That's what those chords are. They're templates. It's somebody else and somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, right? So once you get that template down, then you can start like playing around with it because you know what key you're in, and as long as your scales are matching pretty good. You're okay.
Yeah, but I still...
And you end up looking like, oh...
I still don't understand, like, how is that different than when I cook something and you're like, this is amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just cooking recipes that people have been cooking for generations. I'm just doing it with excellence.
No, you're doing something else on top of it, though. You see what I'm saying? Whereas when I'm freestyling on the guitar, it's impressive to you because you think this is coming out of nowhere, but I'm just hanging out in that, in that region. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not coming out of nowhere.
The milkshake doesn't either that I make.
It's almost a template.
It's following the template of how you make a milkshake.
I don't, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, no. Drake can freestyle in A minor. He's a very talented musician. Ian. Don't forget to be sharp. If you know what I mean, Mississippi Queen, she taught me everything. Went down around Vicksburg, around Louisiana way, lived the Cajun lady aboard the Mississippi Queen. So the Mississippi Queen is a boat.
Yep.
It's a ship. I've only been on one ship. It was called the Scotia Prince. I had some eggs and I puked them all up because I was pretty sure I was motion sick, and then on top of that I was car sick. Just wasn't a good time for me, man.
Yeah.
Went down to Vicksburg around Louisiana way, lived the Cajun lady aboard the Mississippi Queen.
She was a dancer. She moved better on wine. While the rest of them dudes were getting their kicks, boy, I beg your pardon, I was getting mine.
Wait. While the rest of them dudes are getting their kicks, I was getting mine. Oh, God. Here we go. Mississippi Queen. Okay, so now we got a double entendre because the Mississippi Queen is a ship, but it's also Shorty.
Yep.
This lady, she asked me if I'd be her man. You know what I told her? I'd do what I can. You know what that means?
That means for tonight.
We saw an episode of Catfish where they had this on again off relationship for 2 years, and the guy would be like, yeah, like we'd be together, we'd be exclusive, and then stuff would happen, and then we would always find our way back to each other. And I'm like, yeah, that was when he was smashing them girls over there.
It is really interesting to like watch a show like that with a man, because I have my perception of what I think is happening.
It is so
and then
interesting.
You'll point out stuff and I'll be like, really?
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's
we
so
both
true.
have different views on what
So
we think.
true.
And then I get inside the head of the guys. I know it's a crazy. It's fun. You guys should come through the next time we do a catfished episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Then he says, okay, so she asked if he would be her man to keep her looking pretty. Buy her dresses that shine. While the rest of them dudes were making their friends, boy, I beg your pardon, I was losing mine. Why? Because he was getting all the ladies?
No, because he was smashing his friend's girl.
Whoa.
So he was.
Wait.
He was getting his, and then he was losing his friend because he was smashing his girlfriend, right?
No, that was the drummer that was looking at the girl. The friend's girl.
Well, how do we know the drummer didn't write the lyrics?
Well, songwriters.
Look,
oh, Lang
well-
is in there.
While the rest of them dudes were making their friends, boy, I beg your pardon, I was losing mine.
Yeah. Look, Lang is in there, and he was the one that.
Of
that
course, yeah.
But at the same time, that was written before he was watching Shorty in her
he
dress.
was rocking. Right, but the very fact that he's looking at her means something already went on before he looked at her, right? Would you agree? Or you think
you're saying he's the type of person that would do that regardless because he was doing it then. So yeah,
it's in the song.
Yep.
Like it's not a mystery. It's in the song. He's smashing Shorty, so him and this guy are no longer going to be friends. That didn't really work out like that where I was from, though.
Oh really?
Nah.
Why?
We didn't care. We didn't care. Like I don't want to say it like the way that but you know.
I mean, say it.
We had a mentality.
A younger audience.
Well, for us, like it was like it's something's wrong with you if you were like tying yourself down to one girl or whatever. You were supposed to be, I got no passions, I got no patience. So it's like, man, all I want from girls is sex. I ain't trying to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So that was the mentality. You see what I'm saying? So you're not gonna like make a big deal out of it because you're supposed to be dispassionate.
So
you're just supposed to
you
be,
guys
you're
did
just
care,
supposed to be.
but you had to be dispassionate, or you didn't really care because you weren't really trying to do forever with any of them.
I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I genuinely didn't care. There was only two girls that I really, really cared about, and that would never happen. That would never happen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I probably would have cared, but but as far as my boys go, like it would have hurt, but my boys are always going to be my boys. I would just never talk to Shorty again. See what I'm saying? Because, it's different than just, oh, these are my friends, bros before O's. These are people that like prove to you they were willing to die and kill for you.
Right.
So I'm not,
right.
I mean, you know how I am with that
Yeah.
shit. Like, so girls were kind of, expendable in that kind of a circumstance. But now that I think about it, it's the first time I've actually asked myself this question, like, okay, what about the other guy? Like, I don't know. There's probably one of them that probably really did feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely like this kind of makes light of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like a funny thing. Like he's not mocking the dude, but it's kind of like, and it looks like this Mississippi lady's a little bit older than him because he says she taught me everything.
Oh.
So, you do have predatory women. You do have predatory women that do go on the hunt. I'm sorry, it's just factual.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, like, I don't know how much we're gonna.
So gross to me.
I don't know how much time we're gonna spend on this, but there's been a rash of
teachers with students
in their 20s, mid-20s, with 14, 15-year-old students.
Come on, bro.
And I'm like, some of these women
they're all pretty.
I mean,
I've seen a lot of them that are pretty.
Yeah.
That it doesn't look like they'd have any issue. But you know what I wonder if it is? I always wonder, is that yours up there?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like basically the same thing as kind of like, wanting to be with somebody
Happy to see you, Mr. Trump.
that hasn't had like all the history and all the past and stuff like that. And then the way that those 15-year-old kids would probably look at them and, oh my God, I gotta tell you, it makes me so angry when I think about it. Like, and it's really gross to me because I can't even.
Yeah.
No.
I mean.
And I'll tell you the other thing too, is that for the majority of my life, I felt like that women were very safe and that men were the ones that were the douchebags. So when you hear this and you're like, wait, you were teaching these students and then you introduced a sexual situation with them, like, this is weird. This is
I mean,
I'm a mom. I'm never going to see it anything differently. I just think
no, it's against the law. Those people need to pay the price. It's not the same situation.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm a mom and I'm a woman, so I'm like, I cannot understand
I'm with you.
that mindset without feeling predatory.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if that happened with my sons, I would probably say, you shouldn't have done that, bro. Because my boys, both of them, like, they're men now. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? And so they've been taught You know, if this was 200, 300 years ago, they'd be fighting age males out there in jihad. So you can't tell me that these dudes can do jihad at 15 and 16, but they can't understand like right or wrong, whether or not you cannot violate another man's wife.
Well, I don't think those teachers were married, right?
Almost all of them were married.
Stop it.
Wallahi. They're almost all married.
Stop it. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Are
the
you
most
crazy?
recent one. I don't even think I sent it to you because like I stopped sending them to you.
I don't feel it.
But like, yeah, but look at you. But yeah, no, all them girls are married, bro. All them girls were married. And
What?
the
Okay,
last
then I'm
one,
completely
the last
confused.
one, like no drizzy. But like, the dude was pretty attractive. No drizzy, but he was pretty attractive. So I don't understand the logic. I don't know.
The
Like,
kid was attractive?
no,
Or
the woman's
husband?
husband, the pedophile woman, her husband is very symmetrical.
Well, obviously, an
Dudes in-
attractive man is
dude-
not what she wanted.
dudes
She
in
wanted a
shape.
kid.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a control thing. I don't know what. Myron says all of them were married. Pretty much, they were all married.
I did. This is literally the first time that I've heard of this. I thought this.
Ah.
I don't read the stories because I honestly, it makes me angry, and it's so disgusting to me. And you know what? Probably it is because I spend the majority of my life thinking that guys are the bad guys. That I don't even want to hear all of those stories about women being disgusting. But you know what? It is what it like. That's the thing. That's all of humanity.
Yeah, again,
You're married?
like if that happened with my daughters, like people's lives would be in danger. But if it happened with my sons, I'd spend most of the time talking to my boys. I'm just being real. Men and women are different. And
I
they-
would be saying something to her though.
Yeah, you of course. Like we had a situation like that.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say.
We had a situation like that where, you know, the boys, they're handsome boys.
Yep.
All my kids are beautiful. You know that. So, you know, Shorty's like coming around or whatever, and
Getting too comfortable.
and then and I was in the bathroom when I was brushing my teeth. Shorty was like, "Yo, I'm about to, you know, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Look, that's you. I'm not gonna go to no white lady and go after her and, you know, get all, you know, gangster on her." But I'm like, "Yeah, do what you want. Like, I'm out of it." But yeah, I mean, God Almighty. So this lady, but this is not the situation though, because this lady, she was experienced, and this guy wasn't as experienced, but he was happy with the result of the encounters with this woman. And so, I think it's a pretty fun song. It's a pretty, I mean, he's singing some real.
I liked it.
He's
I
singing
liked
some
it.
real gangster shit in here, like, you were making friends while I was losing mine. I mean, that's some gangster shit. Go ahead. And the moral of the story is, obviously, boys, like, I understand, you know, I'm not. The school that I went to had both scenarios. And I was, yeah. The teacher. Yeah.
A male teacher?
Of course. Yeah. Craziness. And that was the Bronx. Nobody cared about that shit, you know, over there. They didn't care. All right, what did you give it?
You know what? I think this one is probably a classic, and I think it probably deserves a super high score. I'm actually debating whether or not to give it a 10. Some of that
10?
stuff, well, I feel like some of the stuff in there was you know,
10?
classic and influential. And I enjoyed it. Okay, I'm gonna go 10 for me.
I'm going to give this one a solid 9.5.
Oh wow, look at the
Solid
scores coming in.
9.5. But look at all these
From high.
scores.
Yeah, Nick gives it 11. Okay.
Look at all these scores.
All right, you guys, we have more songs to go. This is
Male
just song number
teachers will
1.
look at female students. It's pretty obvious when it happens. We just don't want to embarrass them. Oh my God. Man, listen, man. You know, as a dude, like, I bet you there was a bunch of times that girls were doing that and we didn't know because we didn't understand what was going on with the teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't really see the shit develop. You just saw it, like, afterward. And everybody's like, oh, shit.
And
blah, blah,
that's
blah, blah,
what
blah, blah.
makes me more angry. Because that's so predatory. Like, if you have... The kids don't even understand what's going on. I understand the girls feeling that energy, though.
A 15-year-old male in 2024 knows what's going on. Right? Can we?
I
Come
think,
on.
yep, you're probably right.
I'm not saying that the
You're
woman is
probably
not
right.
a predator. She's still a predator. It's still
Gross.
inappropriate.
And she's married?
That's
You cheated on
that,
your husband with
that,
a fucking child?
That right there is my problem.
That is unforgivable.
That's my problem. Like,
I'll be honest with you.
But you also, like, it's kind of like a light joke type of thing. But the fact of the matter is that when you think about consent, my boys are, you know, if you talk about biological sexual maturity, there's the physical aspect of what goes on in your body in puberty, but there's also the social aspect as to where you see yourself in the context of society.
Sure.
And then there's also the internal context of how am I going to comport myself with this element of my being. And we've had, since they've been the boys, been very, very young, explicit and no hold barred conversations about sex, sexuality, and all the rest of it. My philosophy of attack was to say, you know, light is the best disinfectant. And so to take away the mystery and the, you know, because especially Christian parents, like, they make it sound so enticing and so incredible, and then they say, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I was like, man, I want to kill all the mystery and all the rest of it. We're just going to have discussions and talk about it from a biblical worldview. And so my point is, my boys, because I know the teaching they've received and I've observed them. If my boys got into it with a teacher, one of them probably made it happen. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get misinterpreted, though. There are other 15-year-olds who are just completely innocent, have no idea what the hell is going on, not prepared for the conversations. You know, the parents were like, well, you're going to learn sex ed in school, so pass it off to them and just put some condoms in your book bag and be on your way. Those kinds of people, like, I would say is victimization across the board.
I do think that there's a difference between, I mean, there's the entire, I don't know what you would call that, where it's like, it's the hot teacher.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that scene gets played out in movies and different things. So, like, I do think that is geared in their mind toward, like, okay, if I get an opportunity with this teacher. So I'm not even like,
of course,
like a boy engaging in it. I mean, if he's got so he's got an opportunity with some 16-year-old girls, or a woman that's more developed in her 20s. Like, it makes sense that he would want to participate in it. What bothers me is the teacher, the woman, participating in something like that, because you're the adult. And like we said, you know, this teenager, you know, when he's a teenager, is probably like, hey, yeah, whatever. Maybe when he gets older, maybe he feels like, well, geez, I'm like, she was an older woman. Like, what the fuck was she doing? Yeah. And she was married.
No, that like, yeah, it's that post, you know, it's Freudian, the post-coital regret, post-coital shame, which a lot of us in high school living the player lifestyle, you know what that feels like. It's not a very good feeling, man. It's a horrible feeling.
But the girl, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's what. Go for it. But I'm saying, like, as far as the kid being victimized,
and not really realizing until older.
His pain may be delayed when he realizes what happened and how he was taken advantage of and all the rest of it. Especially, it really changes for me when you get older. And we talk about this a couple times. Like, when you get older, like, I see a 20-year-old person now, and I think that they're, like, 15, 16 years old.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah.
And so it's, like, it's even weirder to me, like, how could you be anywhere near 35 and do that with a 15-year-old? Like, the 15-year-old should look like an 8-year-old. She was 35? Yeah! She had two kids.
I thought we were talking about 23-year-olds.
She had 2 kids herself, this lady, the last one. So, like, that to me is like... That to me is like, you're 35, your kid's 15, so your age perception of that kid is lower than so it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. I mean,
but I do think that the male teachers objectifying the girls, there's something that I don't think that men understand. And there is a certain fear element that happens when you're being objectified and you can't do anything to stop it. because you feel it. I do think that there's probably some girls that like the attention, you know, based off of their bad relationship with their dad and stuff like that. I still don't think it's healthy, and I think that she's going to have to work through it later on. But there could be a point in time where she's like, hey, this is cool. I'm not saying that that never happens. But I don't know how that's going to affect her future-wise when she starts realizing how she was being objectified at such a young age. I do see it in some of the forums that I follow where a young girl will be saying, hey, X, Y, and Z is happening. And then the older ones will say, that happened to me when I was younger, and now I realize how horrible that was, blah, blah, blah. So I think that there is like a transition point where they start realizing like, wait a minute, this is an adult. They should have been. I think what happens is once you become that age,
Yep.
like you said, once you're at our age, and I see these kids and I'm like, I'll tell our kids,
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, look, there's a friend for you.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, Mom, I already talked to that girl. She's 22.
22.
I'm like, wait, 22?
I was like, stop lying. She ain't no 22.
22. Okay. All right. I guess she's not 15. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, I was 7 years off. That's a pretty big gap. But I mean, I do think
Look
that
at this. Shout out to Jet. Where I live, we had many teachers in trouble for
trying to meet girls.
trying
or
to
meet
meet up
girls.
with girls
Yeah.
or hook up with girls.
Yeah, that really bothers me because you're sending your kid to school for them to learn, and then you have people that are taking that position for those encounters. Like, I'm sure that there's great teachers out there that are taking that job because they genuinely love the kids and they want to teach.
The vast majority of them are like,
Yeah, but then you still have some of them, you know, the
Like,
ones that end up in the news and the
my-
ones that don't.
It's important to say the vast majority of teachers in this country are underpaid and are buying supplies for their not their children,
But, their
but the
students,
children
yeah.
that the state has put under their care with no budget.
Yeah.
And these teachers are the same people that when a school shooter happens, barricades the door with their bodies, right? So,
Yeah.
so these are I don't know how fringe the cases are, but we remember last year when there was a whole bunch of anti-teacher sentiment going on because you know we were whatever. And the people, there have been, you know, I always talk about Dr. Petzel, but another woman in my life that really changed my life was an English teacher in the Bronx, New York. And it was definitely a dangerous mind situation. And she was definitely the white savior lady coming in to help the black kid with the potential who just needs to believe in himself. Completely stereotypical and 100% accurate to my situation. And I wouldn't be here right now doing this if it wasn't for her.
That's
Because she was
crazy.
like, don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't read, that you're not intelligent. She said, every room you go into for the rest of your life, you're going to be the most intelligent person in the room. That's when I was making a D in English in the Bronx. How hard is it to grade out in the Bronx? And when I was that, she said that to me. And it really stuck with me, man. It was like one of the things where I was like, I heard some other stuff about me from other people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on what this lady said, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
shout out
that's
to all the
good.
teachers
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
I just wish, you know, more stories like that would get the, you know, but at the same time, we don't know like how pervasive this actually is.
No. No, we don't.
I think we're starting to figure out more now because of social media, but I mean, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know. All right. That was a long one. Interesting review. The day has just begun. We will see you beautiful people on the other side of the break. Vin out.
Sorry, out. What
Go.
did you rate that song?
I said it was 10. 9.5. I give it a 9.5.
9.5.
Give it a 9.5.
Right. All right, we'll be right back with the James game.
Yes, sir. See you on the other side of the break.